Today on Peliculas with the Bros, we review the movie Blonde, and we have a couple questions that need to be answered, like, did Blonde go too far?
Is Blonde an evil movie?
All this and more will be answered today on Peliculas with the Bros.
Let's get going.
What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
And welcome everybody to the show. This is Peliculas with the Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
And Peliculas with the Bros is a show where me and my brother Ivan discuss a movie every week. We discuss a new movie. Ivan, what's the movie of the week?
Blonde.
Blonde. A very fill-in-the-blank movie. But before we get into that, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. This is Peliculas with the Bros. It's a show where me and my brother discuss a movie. Every week we discuss a new movie. So if you like that kind of thing, please hit that subscribe button. We're also a podcast, so you can find us on any podcast platform. You can find us on YouTube, but you can also find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Deezer, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, I should say, Google Podcasts, Deezer, anywhere where you listen to podcasts, we should be there. Peliculas with the Bros. Look us up. I digress. Ivan, let's get into this bad boy. Are you ready to go back in time as we revisit the trauma a Hollywood icon endured in this surrealistic biopic film? You ready for that?
Mm-hmm.
Blonde is the movie of the week, Ivan. It's written and directed by Andrew Dominik. The premise of this movie: we all think we know Marilyn Monroe, but we don't know Norma Jean. That's the issue, Ivan. We don't know Norma Jean. The abused orphan.
Absurd orphan.
You absurd orphan, get out of here. The abused orphan, who later in life takes up the moniker Marilyn Monroe as she transforms from a pinup girl to a Hollywood it girl to a cultural sex icon. All the while, Norma Jean is deeply troubled as she seeks the love of others to heal her past wounds. With the cast of Ana de Armas as Norma Jean, a.k.a. Marilyn Monroe, Adrian Brody as the playwright, a.k.a. Norma Jean's third husband, Bobby Cannavale as ex-athlete, the second husband, otherwise known as Joe DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio.
Good old Joe.
Good old Joe. Hit those home runs and hit your wife again, why don't you? Xavier Samuel as Cass Chaplin, son of Charlie Chaplin. And Julian Nicholson as Gladys, Norma Jean's mother. Ivan, this movie, like I mentioned at the top of this podcast, is written and directed by Andrew Dominik. His movies are as follows: Chopper, the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Killing Them Softly. Both those movies starring Brad Pitt, who ended up producing this film, Blonde. Didn't know this, and I don't think you know this until I'm about to tell you. Mindhunter, he directed a couple episodes of that show. Your favorite show?
Makes sense.
It kind of makes sense, right? It's all coming back. Ivan, other than this movie and a couple episodes, I guess, that I watched of Mindhunter, which I didn't even know which ones he directed. I think it's something for the first season. From watching those films, what I gathered,
He likes the dirty minutia of life.
Of life. Boyga. Go.
No.
Okay. Too much. Yeah. He pulls back the curtain.
Yeah.
And he might look under the bed sheet too.
He would?
He gets like that LED light to look at all the stains in the room, right?
And he like makes a movie out of it.
And then he shows you it, but like he really like lingers on it.
Yeah, he's like, look at that.
No, he's like, but he grabs your head. He's like, look at it,
smell it.
All his movies he wrote, giving me the auteur smell.
Yeah.
As you said, he likes the dirty stuff, but I put right here brutal and non-comedic.
Yeah.
Don't know if that really applies to all his movies, but I'm kind of sensing it does.
Yeah.
And he, after reading some interviews, he has a vision. He knows what he wants from his films, and he's not gonna bend the knee
Whoa.
to to anyone unless he has to, I guess, because of studio whatever rights. But
Right.
I think he wants to execute his mission no matter what.
Yeah.
Ivan,
Hmm.
here on Peliculas with the Bros, we like to look at how the sausage was made. So let's look for a cloud and have it cook our sausage.
Boop, boop. It's coming.
Wait.
It's like the fluttering down or something. I should have the falling slowly.
What's that?
There's the sausage.
How the sausage was made, how this movie was made. Ivan, this film is based on a novel which is a fictionalized account of Marilyn Monroe. It's been in the hopper for 10 years now. And when I say hopper, I don't mean Stranger Things. Naomi Watts and Jessica Chastain both previously attached to this movie during the development. I don't know if it's they dropped out or Ana de Armas won after a while or whatever, but Ana de Armas gets the role after Chastain dropped out, kind of. Netflix told Dominik after they saw a cut of this film to tone down the sexual content.
And did he?
Yes.
Dang, there was more?
Some tidbits. Death scene in this film where Marilyn Monroe died. It's actually the same room where she died in real life.
That's weird.
And this movie is rated NC-17.
Yeah.
Fair?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
For me, it was like there was a point where I'm like, no, it's not, and then there's like something like, okay, I think I get it.
All right.
Ivan, we wanted to talk about Blonde. Why? We wanted to watch and talk about Blonde. Why?
Because it's a movie.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
No, I think, well, for me, I would say, even like from the previews and like the trailers and just the lead up, I felt like it was going to be something good to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was, I didn't know if it was going to be a good movie. I just felt like I want to watch that.
Right.
And then there was like reviews and talk on the internet of like, what was it? Two sides.
Polarization.
Polarization sunglasses of this movie, right? And that made me want to watch it even more.
I haven't seen a movie like this where people were like angry. Like most of the time it's I mean, that was pretty bad. But like this one's like, how dare you?
Yes.
Sort of anger.
Yeah.
Sort of, it's like, geez, what's going on with this?
Yeah.
This movie.
Kind of like those kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Art. If art does that, it's kind of a good sign. But
yeah. Same happened with, I mean, this is kind of Death Stranding, the video game. But I mean, this is kind of, like Blonde is about a real person who went through like trauma.
Yes.
So like,
don't
equating
compare.
it to a game is a little
Sexist.
Something.
Manimist.
Yeah, manimist.
I'm a manimist.
Yeah, but same energy. Like people hated it.
Keep that same energy, Ivan.
Yeah.
Keep that same energy.
Yeah.
Also, it's been a year of I wouldn't say a year, but the biopic.
Biopic era.
I wouldn't say it's the era because how many movies have been like this year? I think only Elvis, right?
I've seen. Well, there's some that are coming out that are biopic-y. One like with Christian Bale, another with Brad Pitt. Like Amsterdam for Christian Bale.
But that's biopic? That's like a...
I think so.
No, that's different, right? Because like it's about a real event. So
isn't that what a biopic is?
A biopic is a story that follows someone's life. It's like a biography, but...
And what the heck is that?
What? What the heck is Amsterdam?
About people.
A story about a real... It's like a fictionalized or a real life account.
Sounds stupid to me.
I know. There's no like quick turn.
Biopic.
But it's interesting that just in the context, and we'll talk about it more, that I think one of your favorite movies of the year, Elvis. Dang, he salutes you, Baz. Baz is just like,
Like he knew. He was watching. Like he's gonna salute as soon as he mentions Elvis. He's gonna salute because that's just the guy he is.
It's just interesting that these movies are coming out at the same time, and it gives us a good comparison to talk about, right?
They're like mirror images, but like in a bad way. I want to say one more thing to change your face again.
We'll talk about it more.
Yes.
Enough of that, Ivan. What did you think about taking a quick break? Ivan, what'd you think about Blonde? Whoa. It's a preemptive take with audible onomatopoeias. Couple slurps. Sorry for those podcast listeners. We're right in your ear.
That's good.
Oh, wait, do that again?
It's good.
Oh, dang.
There's something there. There's something there.
Podcast listeners are missing out. What
Yeah.
are you doing?
I'm gritting my teeth as I say it, but I'm not sarcastic about it.
Oh, he's taking it serious,
Yeah.
but he's still
It's good.
saying it through his teeth.
That's good.
Wow.
Very nuanced.
So much to dissect.
So
there.
much.
So much. I liked it. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
There we
It
go.
feels weird saying like I enjoyed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say.
I had fun.
I had fun. It's a finger looking good time.
Titillating.
Titillating. Jeez.
It's not.
Is there ever a movie that encapsulates titillating better than this
Oh
movie?
my god.
No, this movie, it's a very, I can see why it's polarized.
It's a doozy if there's ever been one.
What did I take away from it? I took away that I'm like,
Women have it hard.
well, I mean, yeah, I knew that, but as a piece of art, I was just like, yes, this is art, baby.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to say there, but like if I could say a sentence, I'm like, that's art.
I think there's nothing technically wrong with it. Like in terms of writing, in terms of like cinematography, like anything like that.
I disagree, but keep going.
But like, I mean, in big ways where you could say like, oh, this is horrible because of.
I would say the writing could be something that people can be like, what the heck is this?
But for who?
For people who like basic movies.
But that doesn't. I mean,
like there's a very surrealistic tone to this film,
yeah.
and I think that's partly contributed by the fact that the dialogue is very like kind of
What's happening? This isn't happening.
that, and it's almost like, yeah, it's kind of dreamy too.
But it feels intentional.
It does. But what I'm saying is like that intentionality of being like that is off-putting for the regular movie watcher.
But that doesn't mean it's bad, like technically bad.
Okay, sure, yeah, I'll take that. You win 1-0. I wish we had a scoreboard for like all the confrontations.
Like we each have a marker. Dink.
Yeah.
Dink.
Yep. Okay, so it's not technically bad.
Besides, like, if you want to be nitpicky about like certain things,
Uh-huh.
like, oh, that camera could have been.
Oh no, I don't think people would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's not technically bad.
Yes.
Besides, if you want to nitpick like that,
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
And the reason why I say it's good art is because, like I said at the top, Dominik, he has a clear-cut message that he really wants to give. Whether or not you like that message, he doesn't really care at all.
Yeah.
And even in interviews following the movie release, he makes that explicitly clear.
Mm-hmm.
But just taking the movie as what it is, it's a very brutal movie depicting Marilyn, or I would say Norma Jean's life.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why I liked it, Ivan.
Wow.
That is why I liked it.
Misogynist.
But it is heavy.
Yeah.
It is painful to watch if you're squeamish to like any kind of thing a normal human would be squeamish to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nudity. There's a lot of sexual violence. There's a lot of physical violence. There's a lot of mental, verbal violence.
Abuse, trauma, everything.
Kind of like checks all the boxes for like for Me Too stuff.
Yeah.
And people got away with it scot-free back in the good old 50s. 40s, 50s, right?
Even I wouldn't even say got away with it. It was like that's just how it was. Like
yeah, that is true.
like, oh, I'm just gonna abuse her because that's just what
Par
men
for
do.
the course.
Yeah, it wasn't seen as like, ooh, I'm gonna get away with abusing her. It's like, no, it's my job to abuse her, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's in the job requirements.
Yes.
Wowzers, horrible. Ana de Armas in this film is Oscar-winning performance.
Yeah.
Like before I would see some of like the Oscar nominated people in like previous years for like actor and actress, and I'll be like, why did they get nominated? Why did they get nominated? And it'd be for movies that were kind of like quote unquote bad, but they just really performed well. And I think this, even though it's up to you if it's good or bad, obviously, because it's a
taste.
It's a taste, but she performs her butt off.
I think specifically the acting class scene when she's like screaming and crying.
Yeah.
And she like calms herself down.
Uh-huh.
That was like, I was not out of the moment at all. I was like, this is happening to her. And I've like, I mean, I felt it before, but it's very rare where I'm like, is she just going through it right now?
Yeah.
And then that kid, the kid actor.
Yeah.
That was like, this is kind of abusive to the kid.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're pulling this off.
Yeah. When they get the kid actor right, it shows so well. And when they get it wrong, it's obviously horrible. And this one, they got it right. This little girl performs as Norma Jean when she was a little kid, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to your point, there's a scene where, to me, I was like, dang, she's good. Where, like, she's, like, crying, and she's, like, looking at the mirror, and she's like, don't leave me alone, don't leave me alone. And I was like, who is she talking about? Norma Jean was saying that to the mirror, and then all of a sudden, like, she smiles, and she's like, I'm here.
It was a little jokery, huh?
Yeah, and I was like, dang, she's good.
Yeah.
Because she still had, like, a tear in her eye.
Yeah.
But she just looked, like, brand new.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yep.
So yeah, props. I think that's the thing too. Like, whether you like the movie or not, I think you do need to give credit to Ana de Armas. There's a lot of people, and we'll talk about this more after this, but a lot of people complaining that the movie's very one tone, like it just shows her being sad, and in that for that reason she's not doing a good performance because she's very one tone. And I'm like, well, that's not very fair. Like, she's asked to do a script, she's asked to read a script and perform it that way. So, and for what she did, it's excellent.
And they're kind of, I mean, I know this is based on fiction, but I'm pretty sure Marilyn had a pretty bad life. Like, I don't know how much of it is true, but she ended up killing herself, and that's not like a snap decision. It's like that adds up over time.
Okay, so I have a big thing on this. I have a doozy for you, Ivan. So, and for the audience. So,
come on,
here we go. Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
for that part. But I think one of the things I realized something after watching this movie and the subsequent week thinking about the movie. Which, another reason why this is a good movie, good art. As I was watching the movie, and taking it in, I'm like, okay, I see why people are mad. I see why people like it a lot, and I like this movie because it's doing something different and it's showing a side that I honestly didn't know too much about, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I enjoyed that.
However,
a couple days later, my beautiful wife wants to watch a show on Netflix that everyone's watching called Dahmer.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to watch that. Like, we already know what happens. He's
I already
gonna,
watched Mindhunter. Like, I know how it works.
he's gonna kill everyone.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bloody. I'm not gonna be able to sleep too well at night. Anyways, we watched the first episode because I'm like, let's watch it. And then I came away with like realizing why I don't want to watch it. And it was deeper than just like knowing what's gonna happen. The realization was I don't like that we're watching we're being entertained by someone else's suffering.
Yeah.
Someone else inflicting suffering. And then the end result is us getting entertained and the people making the entertainment are profiting.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's morally wrong. But then I took another step back and I'm like, Marilyn.
Norma Jean.
Baby girl. How can I watch that movie and say those words?
You can, Adrian.
And feel that way.
You can.
I can?
Yes.
And then I thought about it deeper. I was like, I think it's because I didn't know.
So you're ignorant.
I just didn't know. No, I didn't know specifically about Norma Jean's life. And I kind of knew about Dahmer. Not like details wise or anything, but I knew what was going to happen. What do you think about that? Like, please, Ivan, I need help.
I'll fix you.
Okay.
Doctor's in.
Doctor's here.
I haven't watched Dahmer, but I see like the trend of making these like serial killers kind of hot. Like I saw a TikTok of like Dahmer, like the actor, and he's like shirtless and he's like pretty ripped. And then the girl's like, oh my God, he's so hot. Like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it's bad. When they like, what's the word when they like
glorify?
Yeah, they glorify this person. They had to make it like really ugly, really disgusting. And that's what Marilyn or Blonde did.
I think a rebuttal to that is like, and it's something I heard on the internet too, where people are saying they don't like to see him humanized.
Okay.
To show like how he became who he was. And I think that even that is incorrect because like I think the good thing about a show, even if it is trying to entertain, is that it shows you how easy it is kind of to become this bad person, right?
Yeah.
And I would want that from a show. Like I wouldn't want a show that's just like, this guy's evil. Look what he did. I want a show that's like,
show him as a kid. He was like nice at first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he was abused.
Like, oh, his mom took a bunch of drugs when he was pregnant.
Yeah.
When she was pregnant. That's why he's mentally disabled.
Yeah.
I like that. But I don't like when people are like, why are they humanizing him? Like, cause
he's human.
He's human, and you need to learn that this is possible today.
Yeah. And
that's why it's still happening today.
I think the key is to like humanize him, but still like don't like forgive him. No, not forgive. Don't. What's the, like
put him up on.
No, it's like forgive, but like condone. Like you.
Yes.
Forgive, but don't condone.
Right.
But you humanize.
Like I forgive, but I don't forget.
Yeah, somewhat like that.
It's the great God forgives. Sorry, keep going. Rick Ross is in my mind.
Because like you gotta forgive them in order for them to heal, to be better.
Yes.
Like just generally.
Yes.
But if you forget, then you're gonna just repeat in some other way. So you got to remember how it's bad, but forgive them, but don't condone it. Don't say like, well, people just end up being bad. Like, no, we'll do something about it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And
I
then
agree.
don't make them sexy.
So that's that. And then I guess my final takeaway is like, if the show is trying to show, if the show influences someone, like, yeah, at least I learned that maybe it's not good to take drugs while I'm pregnant, right? Mm-hmm. If at least one person understands that, then I think it's fine for this to be, like, for Dahmer to exist.
Right.
Because I think that's my rebuttal for the Marilyn Monroe movie. Like, people are going to learn how bad it was for her.
Right.
And at least that's going to help those people be like, oh, dang, she really suffered, right?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it. A lot of it is just for Blonde, for Marilyn, like the issues of fame, and this is why I said um, Elvis was kind of a mirror. Because
Yes.
they both kind of lived in that era of there was really nobody like them before, and then they got famous, and then they were insanely famous, and they're like literally the top of the world. But for men, for Elvis, like they don't have the issues, or I think issues is too weak of a word. Like the abusive trauma that women have to go through to get to the top. Whereas like Elvis is like he's already a man, he's already at the top. But with Norma Jean, like she had to like really suffer to get to the top.
Yeah.
And Elvis suffered too in different ways. But just that since he was a man, like he
Had it easier.
yes.
Yes.
But I mean he still technically killed himself.
Yeah. That's something I wanted to do to compare both of the movies, and I feel like the Elvis movie glorified Elvis.
Yeah.
Even though like he had shortcomings that they showed. They definitely like showed like this guy's something special.
Yeah.
And they didn't show everything
right.
that they could have. Good and bad.
Yeah. It's extra tough with Elvis. I mean, they showed Marilyn's like greatness with like the movie stuff in there. It was just less of a magnifying glass on that. For Elvis, it was a lot more about the showmanship of that. So they did glorify Elvis. But again, like he was a man, like his life was kind of easy. So I think he had like a lot less of that trauma that Marilyn had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So if you make a movie about that, it's going to be a lot of like good moments.
Yeah. Yeah, to your point of they showed good parts for Marilyn. I would say they did, with the caveat that every time she was in a movie, she was like sad.
Yeah.
She was going through depression or some kind of mental block. There's also there's a quote I have here from our boy Dominik. It's him responding to criticism about being too negative. Like I said, a bunch of people were saying the movie's just negativity and not showing the other side of Dominik. And he said this. Oh, they asked him, "Do you see anything optimistic in this story?" And then he says, I mean, no. Blonde is supposed to leave you shaking like an orphaned monkey in the snow. It's a howl of pain, of rage. Of all the films I've made, it's the one that strikes me the most differently each time I watch it. So, and I agree that he should be able to choose the tone of the movie he wants to make. But I think it does get hazy when it's like you're choosing the tone of the movie you want to make, depicting a particular person.
Mm-hmm.
Like this person should have some kind of say, or this person's family, now that this person doesn't exist, should have some kind of say.
But like, who's Marilyn's family? Like nobody in her life was actually close to her. Like, I feel like I shouldn't. After watching this, like, do I even trust the Marilyn Monroe estate?
Right.
Like,
if that even exists.
Yeah. Did it just like all her stuff go to some producer? You know?
Right.
Like who? Like her mom was gone.
But that being said, if there is no one to speak for her, who should speak for her? Can anyone say anything about her? Is Dominik allowed to take liberties, whatever he can do, or whatever he wants to do?
Not anything, but I don't think he went out of line. Like, I just think because he wanted this to be like suffering, and I think some things in life are like it can't be made good, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's just that, like, look, she was famous, but like she was unhappy her entire life.
And the proof, she killed herself.
Yeah, like
you can't. And she killed herself young, 36.
Yeah, like, what do you really want it to be happy? Like, I think that's a worse message than just showing like how bad it was for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing happy about her life.
Yeah.
Like, there's that moment when she thought her dad was talking to her, ended up fake. The relationship she had with the twins, whatever they were. That was like, it ended up horribly.
Yeah.
All their marriages are horribly.
Yeah.
No mom. Like,
everything at least ended horribly.
Yeah. Like, I'm curious what in her life was actually good besides like the content she created.
Yeah.
But even that, like, after watching this, like I feel bad just watching any of her movies, you know, because she never. I was gonna say she never liked it, but I mean, this could be fictionalized too.
Yeah.
Maybe she liked some things she did, but still killed herself at 36.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, no.
And to that point of showing the side, like not just showing the good parts, but showing things that she changed. Because after her, there's some. She was able to become her own production company, I guess. Like she was like the first female to do that or something. She also had a bunch of like say in some kind of like rights for women, or I forgot what it was specifically.
Right.
So he was questioned about this, the director Dominik, and he had this to say. One question about why isn't the movie showing her being an innovator or an advocate? And he says that stuff is not really what the film is about. It's about a person who's going to be killing themselves. So it's trying to examine the reasons why they did that. It's not looking at her lasting legacy. I mean, she's not even terribly concerned with any of that stuff. If you look at Marilyn Monroe, she's got everything that society tells us is desirable. She's famous. She's beautiful. She's rich. If you look at the Instagram version of her life, she got it all. And she killed herself. Now, to me, that's the most important thing. It's not the rest. It's not the moments of strength. Okay, she wrested away control from the men at the studio because, you know, women are just as powerful as men. But that's really looking at it through a lens that's not so interesting to me. I'm more interested in how she feels. I'm more interested in what her emotional life was like. I couldn't have said it better myself.
You just did.
Oh. Like, the fact, how he correlates it to Instagram is perfection.
And her legacy would be even more powerful if people used it to learn from her mistakes instead of, like, I mean, it's still a good legacy to change women's rights in the movie industry.
Yeah.
But, like, an even greater legacy would be to see this and then, like, some Instagram person sees this, famous, whoever, like, I just realized how horrible my life is. And then they change. Like, that is a way more powerful legacy. Like, just on and on and on and on, especially in this age.
I'm sure a lot of girls on Instagram that are famous because of their looks and stuff can relate to this movie.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like, before this, I don't know if they'll even watch it, but, like, I'm sure they're like, I'm Marilyn Monroe, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they probably saw her as an idol.
Or even they did, but they didn't even know they did.
Yeah.
Like, because I think what one of Marilyn's legacies is, like, she created, like, the image of a woman.
Yeah.
In that era, you know?
And even that, like, I don't want to speak too hard on it as a man.
Uh-huh.
But, like, that image kind of ruined women for a while.
Yeah.
Because they have to live up to that now, which is not good. Like, there's no happiness there.
Yeah. But that's true. But again, it goes back to, like, it's not really her fault. It's like the people higher ups that's like, this is what you got to look like. This is what we want. Yeah. And who is that? That's men.
Yeah.
Men.
Like, I've seen women say, like, this is, like, tarnishing her legacy. You know?
Yes.
But back to the Instagram stuff, like, her legacy is kind of poisonous.
Poison. It is poisonous.
Poison.
It is. You're right.
So trying to live up to her, that's poison. Like, it would be safer, smarter, healthier to ruin her legacy, technically.
Yeah.
Or just make it more honest.
Yep.
And people always complain about, like, what was the word again with the star that you
glorify?
Yeah, glorifying all these things, and then when someone finally doesn't glorify it or reverse glorifies it,
yeah,
like, people are mad about it.
Yeah. I think it's a tricky thing, 'cause, like, we're in an era where the goal is to
empower women.
More and more, it's like to empower everyone.
Yeah.
Right? And to empower women. And also to show the reality of life, right?
Yeah.
And to uncover truths that were once covered, right? Obviously. And so we don't have to do that. People don't have to suffer like that again.
Like, true history instead of, like, George Washington saved this. Like, no, George killed 20 people in his lifetime.
And he had slaves.
Yeah.
But what you get is a weird kind of situation where it's like, okay, so let's show what Marilyn had to go through. And then the people that want women not to suffer are like, well, don't show that because it makes it seem like sex pigs.
Right.
But it's like, well,
She's a victim.
First of all, this is her life. It's not you.
Yeah.
And this really happened to her.
Yeah. Like, it makes him look horrible, but, like, that's the point.
And it's showing that it wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
It's showing how
she's innocent the whole time.
How the system she was in created her.
Yeah.
And made her do things that affected her.
Like, no one's looking at this and like, oh, Marilyn. Ew, I'm over her.
Yeah. They're saying poor Marilyn.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're not like, I'm kind of over her. She kind of sucked. Nobody's really thinking
this girl. I knew it.
I thought she had it all.
Another quote from Dominik. Just got quotes for you for days. The interviewer was like, basically, did you watch any of her movies? Like, yeah, I watched all of them. And he's like, and you didn't get anything from that? And he's like, yeah, not really. I mean,
it's an act.
And the interviewer's like, you didn't think she was good in the movie where she's Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend?
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, so when she sings Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, it's like, is that sisterly advice? If you're going to fuck, make sure you get paid? Or is it just romanticized whoredom?
Right.
And I'm like, oof, that's an own.
Yeah, even like her best movie is not a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
And he's just saying like, I mean, it was good, but it's the worst message ever.
Yeah, it's like the idea. Oh, that's so like, it's so intricate because like if you're a woman and you watch one of that movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or that scene, like Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, which is supposedly like her best thing, right? It's like, yeah, she's great in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's the message behind that?
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Like if you're gonna be with a man, he better give you jewelry.
Like, be greedy.
Yeah.
Be selfish. Like,
and I'm like, oh dang, so like there's layers to that.
Yeah.
You can't just like glorify someone.
And she never even wrote that, I bet. Like,
no.
Some man probably wrote that, like,
yes,
this is what women want.
Yeah.
Send this message.
It was Don Draper himself, man.
It all comes back.
He's like, we need to sell some Tiffany necklaces. Yeah. Let's get that Marilyn Monroe girl and let's put her on this movie.
Precisely.
And that's why all the hippies in Mad Men were like, you're the devil incarnate. And Don Draper's like, I'll make the money, man. What can I do?
I just sell things.
It is funny how in Mad Men, like, he's always fighting a hippie.
Yeah. And he always gets him back.
Yeah.
I was like,
The hippie always looks so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Let's go watch Confess Fletch.
I'm over it.
Okay. Cass Chaplin and Edward Robinson. That was really interesting. I was like, dang. I did not know that at all.
And like he said Chaplin, like, is it the same Chaplin? And I looked it up. I was like, is this the same?
Yeah.
It was so weird because it felt like cartoony.
And that's like another what is it? Triple entendre.
Okay. Yes.
Of showing how like broken Hollywood is. Mm-hmm. That like the biggest Hollywood icon of that era, or like 20 years before that, Charlie Chaplin, his son is just like trash because of how he raised him.
Yeah. And
so is the other guy who his dad was famous too. It's really good. The soundtrack's good.
Oh yeah. There's like one song that I'm like,
yeah? I downloaded the album on Apple Music and I'm like, oh man, I can just like work with this.
Yeah, it's just good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Nick Cave.
Yeah.
And Warren Ellis.
Yeah. Good guys.
Good guys. I mean, I don't know.
We don't know them. They could be horrible men.
They could. Where are we at? Okay, I think we have time for this. New York Times review.
You're hitting me with all of them, aren't you?
By Manola Dargis. Get ready for this. Are you ready? This is like a good review. I don't agree with it, but it's a good like
take.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Dominik is so far up Marilyn Monroe's vagina in blonde that he can't see the rest of her. This is New York Times, by the way.
Yeah.
that he can't see the rest of her. It's easy to dismiss the movie as artsy trash. Undoubtedly, it's a mess. It's a missed opportunity. Monroe's life was tough, but there was more to it than Dominik grasps. The proof of which is in the films she left behind. Gentlemen prefer blondes. How to Marry a Millionaire. Some Like It Hot. The Misfits. Even those names are just like
sexist.
the whole damn filmography. To judge from Blonde, her performances were shaped by her agonies and somehow happened by chance, by fate, or because she's a mystical, magical sex bomb.
Yes.
That's grotesque, and it's wrong.
Oh, jeez.
But if Dominik is interested in or capable of understanding that Monroe was indeed more than a victim of the predations of men, it's because in this movie, he himself slipped into that wretched role.
I think you have to make this sort of movie. Like, you have to get into the mindset of like a guy this horrible. You have to kind of think how he thinks.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that like I also struggled with morally. Like, looking back, I was like, okay, it is kind of bad. How should I say this? Is it? I had it written down, and I think I said it better than when I wrote it. Hold on one second. Give me some filibuster, Ivan.
I had an idea. I forgot what it was. Does that help?
Kind of. Okay, here it is. I question the morality of making the Armas recreate Marilyn Monroe's scenes. Because it's like... honestly, when I mentioned that I didn't think this movie was NC-17 worthy until like a certain scene, and it's the scene when she's blowing the president of the United States of America, and I'm like, do you really need to show that? But it's like,
yes, we do.
I think his rebuttal will be like, yes, because we need to show how mistreated she was. Like, we really need you to like grasp this.
I think it's like
but one last thing, and that's fair, but it's like, but does the Armas have to put herself in that too?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you have to make her do that?
Right.
Because it is kind of humiliating, even for her, I would say.
But I mean, like, I've seen a lot of, I know this is kind of not, I've seen a lot of actors like talk about how like when they're starting, it's super humiliating when they're starting because they don't really know anyone and they're just like starting off. So they're doing like these commercials where they have to like bark like a dog.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is just pure embarrassing and I have to do this in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And like, it's just almost part of the job.
Yes.
To make that art, you know?
You sound eerily similar to like the guys that were like, this is part of the job, woman.
I've had another point. I forgot it. That would have saved me from this misogyny.
I don't know. I just think that
I know
it's questionable.
Yes. Okay. You know, like that philosophical problem with the trolley problem. Like,
no.
where, like, there's two train tracks. You could switch it. You can control the switch, but on one train track it's one person. Another there's 5 people, but you have to choose one. I think it's sort of like that. Where like, if you want it to be very honest to how bad she had it, you're gonna have to do kind of some evil, which is have a child actor act like she's an orphan, which feels kind of evil. Have Anna do something kind of evil, which is portray such a humiliating thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like necessary evils almost. And with that, you can have a movie where these Instagram people realize this fame and everything is just like the worst thing ever for them. But
yeah, I understand that. It would help to have like a very knowledgeable woman on like why we're wrong.
Right. But they wouldn't be right.
Oh, of course not. Just to humiliate them. Just kidding. No. I know, but it would be helpful because like I just agree with you.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm sure all of our women audience has already tuned out.
But I think we're both biased. Not, I mean, yes, us, but like either side is biased Because no woman would want to see like a woman at their lowest. Like they're just showing women being that vulnerable. Like nobody wants to see that because women are already very vulnerable. So
Yeah.
it seems like, why would you do this to us, sort of thing.
Right.
But it could show men who don't realize how vulnerable they are that like, look, sort of thing. They're like, oh, women are vulnerable,
Yeah.
but like necessary evil. Like show how bad they have it, so the dummies can see how bad they have it.
Show how bad they have it, so they can see how bad they have it.
Right.
I agree. Evan, let's rate this movie. Out of 5.
Teddy bears. Was it?
Yeah. It was a teddy bear. Is it teddy bears?
I think it was like a horse or something. Some
Is there something better than that?
stuffed animal.
Out of 5 stuffed animals, how many stuffed animals is this movie?
I give it a 4.5.
Holy cow! Ring the alarm! Ding, 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 ding. Wow. Is it because, like, it's different?
I think a lot of that, yeah, it's different. It's honest in a weird way. It reminds me of Nathan For You and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Just because like how honest they are with how weird people are,
Uh-huh.
like the weirdness they keep with them.
Yep.
Like this is like a whole different scale, but just the honesty of Nathan For You and the rehearsal is super like it makes you super uncomfortable. But he plays it as comedy too, so it makes it kind of light.
Yeah.
Whereas this is just pure pain.
Yes.
But it's still like that uncomfortable truth that, like, I'm sure there's women who's had worse lives than Marilyn Monroe, like way worse. She's just the one who's famous. Like, shout out to those women, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. 4.5 teddy bears. I give this movie a 4 out of 5 teddy bears. This movie is really long.
Yeah, I think my 0.5 is that like cut 20 minutes out or something. I don't know where. Because I feel like everything is needed because it's like the length makes you uncomfortable too.
One thing we just did not mention is like stylistically, visually, it's a treat.
A treat.
It's a treat. A treat and a half.
4.3 aspect ratio.
You know how like it changes aspect ratios. It changes
Color.
filters, colors.
And then there's like where it like meshes with the like it blurs the screen at points.
Yes.
There's when she was walking into her house with Adrian Brody,
yes,
the editor,
the
writer, like it blurred his face.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck? That's so crazy. Like it just like it's breaking rules that I forgot existed.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh yeah, you can just do whatever you want.
Yep.
That's where like a lot of the 4.5 comes from.
Yeah, that's where a lot of my 4 out of 5. I think so. Bad things are like the length. I think it's just like a little too long, or like, and then I don't know. Like, there's an argument of like, this is a great piece of art, but a bad movie type of argument.
Right.
Because it's like technically, this isn't an enjoyable film, but it's a great piece of art.
But I don't know. I think if you just consider everything art, how about you rate things as art instead of movies?
Yeah.
Because movies are just like they're evolving now. Like,
yeah.
Everything everywhere.
Some are involved.
Yeah. But everything everywhere. That's unlike most movies.
Yes.
You just have a scene of two rocks talking.
True.
Like that's not a movie, but it's art.
All right, Ivan. Good takes. Next week we're gonna do Amsterdam, right?
Are we?
Think so.
Okay.
I don't think there's another valid option.
True.
I mean, it's our boy Christian Bale. Ivan, it's time for a section we like to call
Things and Such.
Bale. Christian Bale had an interview, and I thought it was notable for one particular reason. Well, I just saw it on Twitter, I should say.
YouTube? Is it him talking about his roles?
I didn't watch it at all. I'm lying, but I just saw it, and I was like, this is interesting. I need to say it.
Okay.
He basically said that Leonardo DiCaprio has first dibs on anything.
Really? he's just like admitting this.
Christian Bale
Yeah,
is, yeah.
yeah.
And he's like, any role that I ever got, it's because
He didn't want it.
DiCaprio said no.
That's horrible.
And he's like, I'm not mad at him. I know what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, woo!
But Leo doesn't take like a ton of roles, so it's not like he's taking everything.
But he is offered everything.
Yes.
Because I remember when we used to do like older movies on the podcast, and I'm like, who was considered for this role? And he would always be on that.
So Leo was going to be in Thor, but then he said no. It's like, oh, thank God. Now I can be.
I'm thinking like Prestige.
He's like a modern Marilyn.
No.
In terms of fame.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that crazy though?
Yeah.
El Muerto, the Bad Bunny movie, Marvel.
I don't know. It just felt natural.
They have a director.
Tell me.
Jonas Corran.
Mexican? Puerto Rican?
Mexican. The son of Alfonso Corran.
Who made?
Gravity.
Little baby.
Roma.
So it's going to be...
He's basically the son of an Oscar winning.
That means nothing.
I know. He's made like 2 films.
Right. I mean, it's just Spider-Man. Worst case, he's like, Dad, can you write this for me?
No, it's not even, it's just Spider-Man. It's like, it's just a Spider-Man side character that no one knows.
Yeah.
Best case, it's Bad Bunny.
Man, if that movie's good, it's going to sell so much.
If it's good, Bad Bunny's going to be bigger than...
anyone.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. Like, at least, like, if it's an 8, that will be pretty insane with what he is. And, like, I can't even fathom.
I don't want to fathom.
It's giving me chills.
Trailer talk. Ivan, little mini segment.
Mario?
Oh, yeah.
That was nice. I like that.
It was pretty good, right?
Yeah. It looks super good. Like, animated.
Visually, it looks good. And it looks like it has the right tone.
Yeah. Like they tweaked how Mario looked a bit.
Yes.
But it looks good still. It doesn't look like unnatural or anything.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it. It looks funny.
Yeah. It is just crazy that there's a Mario movie coming out.
With that much like quality put behind it.
Yeah. It's like, wow, we really come far.
Exciting to see Nintendo just do this with like a Metroid horror.
Zelda, directed by David Lowery.
And like you could do so many Zeldas and then like just swap out the main guy. Like, oh, that's Link. That's Link.
Like a different tone.
Yeah.
Black Panther 2.
I saw it. It looked serviceable.
I think it's gonna be a really good movie, but it is interesting that they just spoiled that his sister's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought they would keep that.
They showed a woman in the suit. Doesn't have to be her.
You think it's
could be
us?
Yes, I was thinking that. That would be better because she acts.
But the other girl's good too.
But she's like anti some.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Antifa.
She's anti-vax, but like.
Oh, nice.
Violently.
Really?
Not like, but like very vocal and saying like, none of this exists. This is all fake. Sort of.
I actually like her now.
Anyways.
I mean, there has to be someone against Disney, you know? Like there has to be, not everyone should be like woke completely.
But that's like the wrong way to be against Disney. It should be like, well, Disney kind of is destroying cinema. That's like the right way. Like this is just hurting her career.
Now that we're talking about this, I want John Boyega to be like, just like uber famous. But I don't know how he can get there now.
I think he has enough.
I feel like I feel like he is blackballed, but I'm not sure if it's valid. Like I have an inkling that he's kind of a jerk.
Probably.
Like I have that weird feeling.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
But Jordan Peele, he said like, "Oh, you always have a job with my production company." Jordan Peele.
Yeah, but Boyega's not him. Boyega's the Star Wars guy.
I know. But when Boyega said like those things about Disney,
Oh,
Peele's like, "You always have a job with us. Don't worry."
but he's never been in a Peel movie.
But he has movies coming out. So
Okay.
like, if he ever is actually blackballed, where he has no movies,
Gotcha.
Peele will be there.
Gotcha. All right.
It'd be funny, just like his whole life, he's just in Peele movies as like whoever, just because that's all he can get.
Boyega. Lord of the Rings.
Show.
Haven't watched any episodes.
I've been hearing bad things. Like,
There's been bad reviews. They said so. There was a interview where the showrunners came out and they themselves were like, "We know it's a little slow, but we just needed to do this."
just trust us.
Yeah.
Crying.
And then I follow this guy on Twitter who's a movie reviewer, and he said, "It's time to put my version of ambient TV on Lord of the Rings." And then I was like, "Damn, the show's really slow," and I haven't even watched it. Just I can imagine how slow it is.
Yeah, I don't think I'll watch anymore. It's just like with Game of Thrones, just way better.
House of the Dragon. Put respect on that name. But yes, sorry.
Yeah, it's just I haven't watched the newest one. Haven't had the time. Well, I have, but it's a doozy. It's a doozy of a show. So I'm like, I want to sit a bit first.
I see that. You want to, when you watch it, you want to be ready.
Yes,
Yes.
because I like the characters and them dying. It's a little not ready. Not ready.
And last thing here. Wait, was that? Oh no, last thing, yeah. Some sports talk. There's this player that's gonna come into NBA next year.
LeBron James too.
Crazier. His name's Victor Wembanyama.
Race.
Wembanyama. He's half black, half Navi.
Like Avatar?
Yeah, he's 7'6" essentially,
Okay.
and he plays like he's like 6'8".
Okay. So he's fast.
He's just like athletic
Right.
and kind of smooth,
Mm-hmm.
and usually someone that big is not that at all. And I saw just like one highlight, and it looked so freaky because he was so tall and he moved like a guard in a way. And the way he shot it, I was just like, this guy's a Navi. Like,
right.
and it was.
Does it look weird? Like his face?
No.
Like regular guy?
Yeah.
Ooh.
But he's just like really lanky.
Marketable.
You got some potential, boy. Marilyn Monroe, part 2.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. But yeah, it was weird, man.
Interesting. Does he have the spark? Is he passionate?
Yeah.
He is.
That's
he
why.
actually wants to play basketball.
Yeah. He's like, he lost in a preseason game and he was pissed. And people were like, yes.
LeBron, get the hell out of here.
6'8"? This guy's a foot taller than you, man.
LeBron.
All right, Evan. It's time for a section we'd like to call What's on the Telly? What's on the Telly started, like that phrase started as like British. And it's not even that anymore.
What's on the telly? I don't even know how it goes.
Me neither. House of the Dragon. Didn't watch the latest.
Not yet.
It's good.
It's good.
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 I watched Hocus Pocus 2. Family night. You're like, even more. I mean, it's Hocus Pocus 2.
Is it what it is? It is what it is. Sort of.
It
thing?
is what it is. Disney needs to make some money, don't they?
Heard Andor was good, but I'm not watching it.
I'll watch it eventually. I watched the first episode.
Saw an ad saying, "Critics say best Star Wars show yet."
Not saying much.
Yeah. Come on, show me the critics. Bet they're ugly. Yeah.
Well, what kind? Like physically and
Yeah.
mentally?
Physically.
Not mentally though.
No, they're probably smart.
Yeah. I watched another episode of The Rehearsal, and it set. I laughed because it was like, this guy is just insane.
Yeah.
But then I also was like, something wasn't sitting right because I just feel like the other actors
Mm-hmm.
or the other people are actors.
No, they're not.
Like the girl,
The mom?
Yeah, the mom.
Mom? No way.
Why no way?
I just don't believe it. If she is, I'll be very surprised. But my faith is that she is not an actor.
It's a religion now.
Yes.
I just feel it because shows are usually with actors.
Usually.
And the way she acts is so weird.
Normal?
No, it's not normal.
She acts like an actor? But how does an actor act?
No, she acts like... She has this like very... Like, I did drugs. Like, she acts like she really...
I think she's just she's very much a weirdo. Like...
Yeah.
She did it, and then it messed her head up.
If she's a real person, she is really, really weird.
She is.
Like, really weird.
I believe those people exist.
I do, but it's scary, man.
It is. It is scary, but they exist, Adrian. Hold my hand. Get out of here.
You dumbass. You slapped me in the face.
I'm one of the weirdos.
What are you watching?
I watched What We Do in the Shadows, the show.
Nice.
I saw the first 2 seasons a while ago.
Oh, uh-huh.
Then I watched the last 2 seasons recently.
And?
It's good.
Dang.
Yeah, it's good. Probably, at least with my taste, one of the best comedy shows out there. Like, there's moments where I'm like it comes out of me. Like, I just laugh. That doesn't really happen ever.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's saying a lot.
I really recommend.
It's a show. Like, first of all, for you to like a show, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
For you to like a show and say you like it a lot,
yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
I'd say even funnier than the movie. Like, it takes the aspects of it.
Yeah.
But it builds on it, and it's never like, oh, I remember from the movie. Like, they have cameos of Jermaine and Dickie, but very minimal. They're not like in it at all, really. It's good. You should watch it.
Okay. But it's on Hulu, huh?
Yeah.
You have a account?
Just a month. I always get like a month here.
That's all I need, but... Actually, no. It's hard now because I don't watch TV while I eat dinner. I'm practicing abstinence from that.
Okay.
So that's usually when I get the meat of my TV time. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Anything else you're watching?
I watched the movie Bros.
Oh, in theaters?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Because I didn't have to watch Blonde in theaters. Thank God. Would have been weird.
You're like, hey, good movie, huh?
Good movie, eh? Pretty good. Like sweating bullets.
Just eating popcorn.
Man, this popcorn. I think I need more. I'll be back, guys. I've been focusing more on comedies, just generally, like with this show. Just because I feel like I'm out of touch. I wanted to put my finger on the pulse of comedy. See like what's funny.
So what was on the Gay Pulse?
It was funny.
Oh.
But it's like all still historical.
Interesting.
Because it's definitely made for like gay audience first, and then but anyone can watch it. It's definitely funny on its own. Like there's parts like where it's just very obvious gay subculture humor.
Nice.
But it's not a lot of it. Like anyone could like the movie.
Question: what's the proper way to reference gay people?
I think gay is.
It's just so weird because like growing up, gay was like
a slur.
A slur.
Yeah. They're owning it again, Adrian.
What?
They're owning it again.
So it feels good to be like in touch and just say like, yeah, they're gay, and that'll be fine, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could say homosexual.
I feel that's like very.
Like you're a little scared of them.
Yeah.
I say just gay.
Okay.
I say just gay. Is it at times it's a little. It felt like glimmers of Confess Fletch, where it's like I kind of seen this, but it's very rare.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the movie is kind of original.
And
then there's the underlying theme of history not being honest with who was actually gay, and they kind of make it as a joke. They made Abraham Lincoln gay. They said like, oh, he had letters with this guy,
right?
And then the main guy's like, see, I mean, he has to be gay, like the way they talk to each other. And then they're like, no, like he didn't have this. It wasn't that. Like, there's no way. And then he's like, well, back then, gay was not a possibility at all for anyone. So
Right.
of course there wouldn't be any proof. And that, like, I was like, you're right. He could have been gay.
But that could be said about anyone, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, that's the
That idea.
Yeah. And it just opened my mind, like gay is not recent at all. And there's a good amount of gay people in the world.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure like hundreds, 200,000 years ago, like they were gay too, but we have like no history on them at all.
Well, there is some.
But I think it's a lot less.
Yeah, because like what is it, like the ancient Greeks?
Yeah, I think
They were openly gay.
Yeah, but like,
and also openly pedophiles. Seriously, there were
Jesus.
some. There, like I think, like
it just feels a little
you're
weird
like,
to
Adrian, don't get into that.
equate those two right next to each other.
There were some that were openly pedophile, and people
Yes.
were okay with it back then.
Right, but that's unrelated to being gay. Completely. Right, Adrian?
If you're correct, I
'Cause
mean, unless you're a pedophile for
boys and you're a man.
of your own, gender, then it is. But
I think that's possible.
are we in hot water? I feel like you think we're in hot water. I'm like,
I just think it's
this
like
water's like cool,
it's
and you're
the-
like, it's scorching hot in here.
it's the weirdest time to bring it up
Oh,
because like
I think it's just that what you're going back to your point, the fact that there is history in
That-
ancient times
yes,
of gay people and
yes.
of people that are pedophile.
yes, but not the point
Okay, I'm
at
sorry.
at this time.
Adrian, at this time, you gotta sit down, damn it.
It just feels like you're equating it.
Okay, I'm not equating it.
Yes,
You're right.
and I know that, but I'm
For the peasants out there.
I'm future proofing this.
Okay,
You know?
yeah, blockchain.
Yes.
Gotcha.
NFTs. But it was good. It was a good, funny, heartwarming.
Interesting.
times.
I did kind of want to watch it.
And it's not unrelatable. Like you don't watch and you're like, I can't understand this at all. Like it's still very human. Like there's nothing in it where you don't understand
Cool.
motives and anything.
Interesting. Take a look.
It's good.
Marlon Brando Happy Hour, is it officially retired?
Dead to me. Dead.
Jesus. After 5 movies, he got what was dead. He knows what it means to be Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Ivan, I have a good section here. It's time for a section we call Really Be Bussin'.
Sure.
I have some minor news, and then we can get into the meat of things. I've been back into music, Ivan.
You say this every week.
I say it every week for the past month because I've been slowly entrenching myself.
Just a little dip.
But now I think I'm in it.
Okay.
I listened to YG's album. I listened to Freddie Gibbs' album. I listened to a guy. Oh, no, I didn't listen to the guy. I listened to a bunch of albums. Takeaways are Freddie Gibbs' album. It's good.
He knows what he's doing.
He has I think he has the best, one of the most versatile flows in hip hop,
Yeah.
and he has good lyrics
Yeah.
and good beat selection.
Yeah.
This album is more pop orientated, if
Okay.
there is such a thing in hip hop, or there is such a thing, but it's
Oh
not.
boy, is there.
It's not like
Jack Harlow.
it's not like Jack Harlow. It's more like
Good beat, good rap.
like a why
Catchy
am I
hook.
blanking? It's more trap pop hip hop than it is Jack Harlow pop hip hop or Lil Nas X pop hip hop.
Okay.
Good album. YG album, not so good.
Right.
Same basic stuff. I do think there's something to be said about Afro pop. Like that as a musical style is really gaining traction.
Really be bussin'.
Really be bussin'. Thank you, Ivan. And
Call back.
it is interesting
Yes.
that it's something that we don't have a pulse on at all. But there's a lot of music coming out of Africa, and it is
like Africa.
Yeah, out of Africa, and it's good.
English.
It's English mixed with some of the native languages. Have you heard? It's kind of like the precursors, obviously. Well, people are gonna get mad at this because it is wrong, but what is it? More Life. Drake. Passion Fruit.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Style.
Well, wouldn't Honestly Nevermind? Isn't that pretty much Passion Fruit?
No.
No.
Honestly, Nevermind is another genre that I wanted to get into here too.
Good segue then.
Yes. Jersey Club. Dish, 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 dish. So
everybody.
I mentioned this to you last week that I listened to this guy named like CJ or something. Sorry, I don't have good names, but what I want to talk about is just like this thing called hip hop. There's like club music mixed with hip hop, even more now coming to fruition.
Next wave.
It's the next wave. There's a rapper / artist called Too Rare. He made a song called Cupid.
Okay.
And he just remixed it with Lil Durk because he wanted more eyes on it. But it has that like.
Right.
And it's coming, but it's very like right now it's very
new.
Very new, but it's very rough around the edges.
Right.
So Drake already tried it, but his wasn't really
pure.
So once someone comes in, he's like, okay, I grew up with this, and here's like the Kendrick Lamar version of it.
Right.
But it's going to take like 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So.
Can't happen sooner. Honestly.
Okay, I got some good stuff for you here. The Baby. And you're going to like this, I promise. The Baby and your other favorite rapper, Tory Lanez. They came out recently saying that they're being blackballed.
They don't understand.
The Baby's album sold like 25,000, like very... Nothing. It didn't sell, basically.
Yeah.
No one listened to it. People said it was a bad album, too.
Yep.
Fix them, Ivan. Tell them what's happening to them.
It's how do I put this? It's terminal. There's nothing. They should have invested and then retired. Lived in Barbados.
Nice.
Visit Rihanna for a spell.
Yep.
Never know.
Ivan. That's so sexist.
Blonde, watch it. But
she's married. Well, she has a baby with probably the best person in hip hop right now, A$AP Rocky. He's living his best life.
Polyamorous. You never know.
That's true.
Love is love.
Love is love.
I don't think they're capable of anything more. They're just victims of their upbringing, sort of thing. They're too hard-headed. And I don't think they have like the range to go anything further. And I don't like, what else can they do? Like, but the Baby's tried singing. It sounds bad. He had like one flow, which was good, but that's all he has. Tory Lanez, he lost so many times in the past like year. Like he's way too out of it. Maybe like some return to form to what he was good at. Like, whatever, you know what? I'm done with all this. I'm just going to make what everyone wants, sort of thing. And then he could get some money out of that.
Yeah.
But I like both of them. They're out of it. They're out of the game. We've moved past them. And plus, both of them are kind of sexist in different ways.
They both are toxic.
Yes, that's better.
And
I think the culture sees that. Like, they see toxic people now, and they're like, I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
Like, subconsciously, at least.
Yes. And I think that's good.
Yes.
And I think it's good for them, too, because at least they'll see, like, maybe I need to change.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then it's better for us. they're not in the limelight.
Yeah, but they should have planned to be obsolete. And if they didn't, snooze you lose, bucko.
Snooze, you lose. You know who's not losing?
Drake.
Actually, this person is losing. Kanye West. Your boy.
He's gone. So, no, too far gone?
So far gone.
I was close. I had it.
Kanye, there's a lot to unpack
You
here.
just post so much. I'm like, I don't know what your message is anymore.
I went to I don't have Instagram on my phone, and I was like, I wonder what his Instagram looks like. I'm like, oh Jesus, and it sucks because I can't read any of them because you need to log in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to log in, but I do want to see it. But
it's like the same stuff. I've just I don't read all of it. It's just too much. But I'm seeing points of what he's trying to do, and I think it's just like a one love everyone sort of thing. But he just does it the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Like a battering ram. Love everyone, you idiots. And he's technically right, but you have to do it the right way, and he does not know how to do it, and he's just doubling down. Did you see the White Lives Matter? Sure, they matter, but that's not the right way to do it.
Yeah, I think there's the arguments for and against that, right? The arguments for that is he's doing it as a piece of art to be
right.
Yes, they do matter, but also it's kind of
it's a
subversive.
Yeah, but it's outdated. It's so obviously subversive in a way.
Yeah.
Sure. Be subversive.
But I think the argument against that, even that, is you're just doing it to get attention, though.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you're just doing it to get attention.
And it's not even. Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess. And then when I saw that, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's probably not the best thing. And then people were like, he's horrible. Why can't he do it? I'm like,
it's not that bad.
Okay. It's not that bad, but I understand you're mad.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, what is Kanye's goal? What is his goal? And I was like, well, I think he just wants
peace.
He wants peace. He wants things. He has sort of a utopia.
Yeah.
But why does it not work? It's because he wants it his way as fast as possible right now.
Yeah.
And no questions asked. And there's always going to be questions asked.
Yeah. I think if you want that, you have to realize it will never happen in your lifetime unless you're literally Superman and can force everyone at the same time, sort of thing.
Or president.
I don't think even he could do it.
That's the thing too. That's a good point because maybe that's his fear and driving him to do it this way is I want to see it before I'm dead.
Nah.
And then he's for that reason, that's why I'm so aggressive.
Yeah.
But you have to realize that to change it, it's not just you, it's everyone, and it takes time.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is his utopian vision is I can design the best stuff. I can hire the best people to to design the best stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
To make the best houses, to make the best school systems. But it just needs to be done now. Give me the power. Stop blocking me. Let me do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he feels like he's being blocked at every corner. And anyone who says who goes against him is an enemy, and he belittles them.
Even if I told him look, you're right, but you're doing it the wrong way, he would just hear you're doing it the wrong way, and then he'd be like, oh, you're against me.
Or he would be like, what is the best way?
Yeah.
They don't learn. They don't listen to you. They
yeah.
Why if I'm a genius at everything, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I can see his reasoning, but that's I can see why he thinks that way, but it's not correct.
I think the best way, and it's not it'll never happen in his lifetime, no matter what. Best way is to just what he does best: music, clothes, and then just every bit of his energy in that, and then just fund the smart people in education, fund the smart people in cancer research, smart people in homes, and then just oversee things. Oh, you're good. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay.
But that is what he's trying to do. It's just that his manic attitude kind of affects all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that because he has a quote that he recently came out with, and he says, specifically in this fashion context, I see myself more as George Lucas than a fashion designer. I work with true fashion designers. I don't know these designers, like Shane, like Demna, like Ricardo Tisci. My main job is to be a producer in a Quincy Jones sense, who takes in symphony ideas and then plays a song.
Right, but you have to do it
the right way.
Yeah. And he needs to, like, as horrible as it sounds, like, he needs to calm down. You know, like, I'm not saying not be yourself, but just realize people see that crazy energy or that passionate energy and see that as crazy.
He'd be like, my passion, it's real.
Yeah.
It's not crazy. By you saying crazy, you're belittling me.
Yeah.
You know how long I've been belittled? You know how many, when Jay-Z saw me, he called me a rapper. I told him, I'm not a rapper. I'm an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can be a good Kanye impersonator.
Yeah. I think that's like his life story in that like sentence he said.
It's funny, like whenever he like they ask him about something, he like goes a separate way and he doesn't answer it. He like vaguely hints at the answer, but it's something completely different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like genius but dumb at the same time.
What he does, he tries to put like a story to it.
Yeah.
Like a reasoning behind everything.
Yeah.
And then you kind of forget what the question was. And he forgets too.
Yeah. And you're like, oh man, this guy has a point, huh?
Yeah. And he's probably right, but he just needs to focus. And then he's going to, like, if I say, oh, you need focus. He's like, what do you mean focus? My mind's everywhere. I'm a spectrum of ideas.
Yeah.
Like, he's just so against anything that in any way changes him in any sort of way. Even though, like, you kind of have to change a bit if you want to get everyone to be on your side.
But that, I feel there's like a contradiction there too, because like he's at his best when he works with people.
Yeah.
Like there's something that he's good at that allows him to work with people.
Yeah. But even now he's getting like kind of toxic with work. Like
Uh-huh.
What'd you say? It's like, yeah.
I was like, yeah, keep on. It's fine.
Just like I seen, this isn't exactly toxic. Well, that sure. But when like the way he makes music is he has the ideas, he gets the producers, and they churn it out. It takes a little nap. It's done, right? That itself feels a little toxic just because I know you had the idea, but kind of I think just being in the like your hands in the mud sort of thing, that is a little more important than getting the idea out for what he's doing. But he does that and then puts his hands in the mud for like the education system and then hands in the mud for everything else.
Oh, okay.
So like there's no focus.
Yeah.
Like no matter how genius you are, you cannot do everything. Like you're still one person. Like you got to delegate and realize like I got to let this guy do the entire job alone.
Mm-hmm.
And if he needs advice, I'm here, but I can't.
Frostio Plumbers.
That's what I'm saying.
Always willing to help.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would be like a good wrench to Kanye's like hand, you know, like we're like the widgets. Just move us around.
Like us shaking the widgets.
Widgets that shake?
When you hold the app and it shakes. On the phone, when you hold it, it shakes.
What widget?
On the phone, you get widgets.
I'm so confused.
Your phone has widgets on it.
Widgets or apps?
Apps are widgets.
Mind blown. Mind blown.
Anyways.
Yeah. I think that's all I had. I put him in the music section. I probably should have put him in things and such because he's not making any music.
He'll be sad to see. No, it's gonna be like boringly sad to see how he goes down, because it's just like I've seen this for the past 5 years, sort of thing.
You know, it'd be interesting. I think what would help him is like if he makes something and no one buys it.
Yeah.
Like that. Once he makes his
Yeah.
like own shoe and no one buys it because like of his craziness, I'm like, okay, that's what he needs.
Humbleness.
Yes.
He's gonna realize, oh, I'm not. Well, like he lost presidency, and that's like, he's always saying like, oh, anything I set my mind to, I can do it.
Right.
And he lost presidency.
Thanks, Donda.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, though.
I feel like no matter how many times he fails, he won't see that as his fault. He'll see that as like, oh, I didn't do it right this time. But he's at the point where he does not have the right headspace to do anything right, no matter how many times he does it.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
Donda. I haven't listened to that album in so long, but like I haven't listened to anything Kanye in so long.
All right, I think we're good. Anything you want to part the beautiful people with?
No.
All right, we'll be back next week. We'll be talking about Amsterdam. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you've been watching this long, peace out.
Bye.